The Division 2 was on the brink of cancellation. Now, it's thriving more than ever. Let's talk about it. Hi there, my name is Deltah and welcome back to another Division 2 video. You all have been absolutely destroying my videos. I never expected that they would do so well and generate so much discussion, but here we are. If you're liking my content, please be sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button as it always helps me out. But without further ado, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this discussion. So as the Division community is looking forward into Title Update 16 coming next week and Ubisoft Forward on Saturday, September 12th, which if you didn't already know, I'll be streaming, so be sure to check back at my channel tomorrow by 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I wanted to touch on a trend I've been noticing into the Division 2 community as the universe is expanding and becoming larger, with new entries such as the Division Heartland and the Division Resurgence. There's been some super interesting developments into the types of discussion that the Division community has been having now compared to even just a month ago, let alone a year ago. Just over a year and a half ago, the Division 2 was about to be cancelled. Massive had announced that the Division 2 was set to receive its final update in the form of Title Update 12, and Ubisoft would have pulled the plug on one of the most popular new IPs in gaming history. It seems that despite their best efforts, the Division franchise would be coming to an end after the Fei Lao manhunt at the end of Season 4, and Massive would be moving on to other things. Obviously, we know that this isn't the case anymore as we sit on the brink of Title Update 16 and the reveal of a second new Division game in a year, and the Division 2 sits at the most comfortable place it's ever been in years. During that time, and still to an extent today, the biggest problem that the Division 2 suffered from was a lack of confidence. It seemed like the game had a lack of overall direction after the death of Fei Lao at the end of the Season 4 manhunt. Us Division fans had started to lose confidence in Massive as well as Ubisoft, but the issue with Ubisoft is slightly more justified in my opinion. Focusing more on the Division 2, a year and a half time span where the developers spent, for the most part, working on the game in silence, and only sharing minimal details about what we could expect from the game coming forward, led to a lot of uncertainty about the Division 2's standing and how the game would remain relevant. This level of uncertainty and latent anxiety with the Division 2 and fear that our beloved franchise was the catalyst for most of the discussion about the Division 2. So many YouTube videos, forum posts, Reddit threads, and interpersonal discussion between community members was centered around what we might see from the Division and Massive going forward. This also stands true for the Division Heartland, as pretty much all that we had to talk about was speculation at that point. Yes, I know that there was some leaked footage and some people breaking NDA and talking about the game in its current state, but that's obviously not public information and can be treated as speculation. I'm not saying that the community's response is a bad thing at all. Content creators, especially whose channels are built all around this franchise, needed something to talk about and turn to speculation and discussion about new and potentially upcoming content because, well, like it or not, that's what people cared about. I myself made a fair amount of videos talking about what's coming next for the Division franchise because that's all we had at the moment. And sure, there's plenty of content creators who got by making build videos and talking about the game in its current state, but at least to me it felt like a lot of the discussion was centered around what we're going to see next from the Division universe. These kinds of videos did really well because everyone was curious to know what was coming next for the Division franchise, their beloved game. Although to be fair, it was kind of an unhealthy environment all around for people who covered the game and fans of the franchise alike because of the uncertainty and levels of anxiety about continued content releases for the game were at an all-time high. Since there was no news and no public information to go on really, all anyone had to go on for a discussion was the promises of the last news drop and the current problems plaguing the game. It's not really anyone's fault because I'm sure Massive and Red Storm really wanted to share news and details about the games that they're working on with the community but were sworn to secrecy by Ubisoft Corporate. The problem here was asymmetric information. There was a little bit of a desync between the community and the developers, which is what was causing these types of discussions to be had in the first place, more so than they normally are. I don't mean to say that there is never speculation about what's coming next from a franchise or anything like that, please don't get me wrong. I'm saying that's pretty much all we had. With that being said though, the Division community was, and still is, hungry for news. As we sit on the eve of Ubisoft Forward with the reveal of the Division Heartland, I want to talk about the recent discussions about the Division 2 and how these discussions make me hopeful for the future of the game. Like I said earlier, the Division 2 is in a much more comfortable spot, content-wise and player-base-wise, than it was a year ago or even a year and a half ago. Recently, the Division 2 community has been making a big discussion about the state of PvP and the new expertise system that was released released with Title Update 15, better known as Season 9. This got me thinking a little bit about the state of the discussion regarding the game right now versus what we talked about, say, 6 months ago. With the added security of new content coming to the Division 2, plus the fact that we as the Division community know that we're gonna get continued content updates in Year 4 and Year 5, so an additional year and a half of content at least, the Division community is likely feeling like their time is being more respected by the developers and by the publisher, Ubisoft. Obviously, I don't want to speak for everyone in the community because it's not true for all of us, and yes, I could see you typing in the comment section right now, but I urge you to rewrite that comment and use it to talk about the actual issues you have with the Division 2, not the people running it. Basically, what I'm saying is that this is now the best time for us as fans of the Division 2 to get our feedback on the game out to the developers, since they are now more focused on bringing content to the game and now engaging more with the community than they have in the past. The number of tweets about the game has been steadily increasing, as well as the community members taking to the forums to voice their opinion on the new changes coming to the game and what they'd like to see. We have confirmation at this point that we can expect some nice changes to PvP as well for once, so luckily our faith in the developers is starting to show some dividends. I bring this up to say that the developers are starting to look at the Division 2 and the current state of the game in a little bit more of a critical light and looking to change things to make it just a better game overall for all the people who play it, not just a specific audience. In addition to that, we can expect some new game modes, new gear sets, new exotics, as well as new seasonal story content. What I'm saying is, it's a great time to be a Division fan. The Division 2 development team even has an active problems board where community members can go take a look at the current issues plaguing the game and look at how the devs are managing their time and resources to tackle these issues raised by the community in an effort to listen, consider feedback, and implement and iterate on changes to the game that the community actually cares about. Contrary to what some people may think, this isn't necessarily an end-of-life feature. You don't just implement and continually update the issue log for a game you plan on leaving behind in a few months. That just doesn't seem very logical. My call to action for you as fans of the Division is to take to the community forums. You could use this video's comment section if you like, and bring up issues that you think are important to the success of the game. If you just want to watch the game crash and burn, first of all, why are you here? But secondly, this is the best chance we have as fans of the game to get our voices out and shape the new content coming to the game to fit our tastes and preferences as much as possible. So whether that be discussing the expertise system more, or talking about the implications of the SHD watch system, which is what's been going on recently, those two systems have been a hot topic recently. Or maybe you just want to share ideas on how PvP could be changed or balanced, new quality of life features you'd like to see come into the game. One of the biggest examples of this are the new countdown modes coming to the game in Title Update 16. All of this goes to show that Massive is listening to the community and ready to implement feedback to make the game better and align more with community ideals. Part of the reason the Division Heartland has been taking so long to come out is because the game is allegedly implementing community feedback via those who have tested it, so it comes out of the oven at a perfect medium rare, well done, etc. I know cooking analogies aren't great for gaming videos, but I don't know, I thought it worked and whatever. But at any rate, the developers of the Division and the Division Heartland have been listening, features were implemented, and for those who really wanted it, it's there now and available for you to try out in the case of the new countdown difficulty modes and new countermeasures. While there's still a lot of discussion to be had about the merits of such an addition to the game, that's going on with every single new feature added or changed. Just look at the expertise system, for example. That's the beauty of games like the Division 2. The game has a little slice of everything for most players in the community, and when receiving continual updates, the game can continue to grow and adapt over time. Once again, just to reiterate, now is the best time to make your voice heard when it comes to what you want to see coming from the Division. Do you have thoughts about the new stuff coming to the game with the new Title Update 16? What do you think we can expect coming from the new game mode, which presumably will be revealed at Ubisoft Forward tomorrow? Anyways, my friends, this is gonna wrap up today's video. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at my stream of the Ubisoft Forward event starting at 2:30 Eastern time, so I hope to see you all there. In the meantime, leave a comment below what you thought of the video, and let me know what features you'd like to see come to the Division 2 and to the Division Heartland. Anyways, it's been your friendly neighborhood Delta, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Go ahead now, you can get out of here. All right, peace.